ready to rumble. 18 cars. Winton Motor Raceway. The car sales. TCR Australia Series. Thanks for joining us again here on SBS. Live coverage from Winton Motor Raceway. Green flag at the back. There's the 10-second board. We're good to go. Let's get the front wheels spinning. Let's spool up those turbos and get them racing into turn one. Can Jason Bright hold on? No. What's going on here? The Volkswagen's not got going. Now he clears the zone. They managed to miss him on the run to turn one. That could have been disaster, but it's the Hyundai out in front. Will Brown under fire from Aaron Cameron up the hill from turn two. Cold Michelin tyres, and Brown is covering. Look in the background. Jordan Cox is flying through the field. Ingles in the fight as well. He's third and trying to fill the gap. They work their way through turn four. Unbelievable start. One of the Hondas has dropped to the tail of the field. Boy, oh boy, what is going on? Jason Bright just did not get going. Was it the clutch? Was it the driver? Who knows? But the fact is, he's down the back of the field in position number 18.
We're hearing from Alliance Autosport that it may, in fact, as you alluded to, be some sort of clutch issue. We'll get confirmation from our team in pit lane. What a shame for Jason Bright, down now in position number 18. It's Will Brown from Aaron Cameron, Russell Ingall in the top three in the Castrol entry. And it was hard in the mouth stuff, I reckon, for Tony D'Alberto. The evasive action to avoid Bright after a ripper start in the Honda. That could have been chaos.
Really lucky to get away with that, all of them. John Martin down the back there fighting with the Subarus and with Tim Brook. Back at the front, Brown, Cameron, Ingall. Here's D'Alberto, P4. Jordan Cox, what a great start in the Alfa Romeo, working his way forward to try to put a bit of light on the day for GRM. It's been a pretty dark sort of a run for them this weekend. End of lap one, the Alfa's going for the move. Down the inside at turn one on Tony D'Alberto. He's got the job done. The Alfa is through. There he is. Oh, no, he's not. He's off the road. There's contact with D'Alberto, and Cox is in the grass. Was that the curse of the commentator? Seemed like it.
Oh, we need to try and catch our breath here. Liam McAdam is up into position 7 in that blue Audi. Why don't we get a quick update from Emma in the lane? Go ahead.
Yeah, guys, just confirming the clutch boil, but it's all back and running. Jason Bright ready to go again.
Okay, he's down the back though, Emma, so we'll see if he can work his way through. He needs a safety car to get him back in the game. Looking here at Liam McAdam with Nathan Morecambe, so he got shuffled back in that whole drama off the start line. Hamish Ribbert's putting a move on Alexandra Whitley, and Moffat runs in 7th. So the Renault was able to take its place back on the grid after that spin on the warm-up lap. Cox is off again. The Alfa's been out ploughing through the grass in the background. That's the smoke you could see as Morecambe now puts the pressure on Liam McAdam in the Audi. And there's Hamish Ribberts. Where did he come from?
I reckon he's crossed over from the sweeper and rejoined there. So he's had a drama too in the Astra. Meantime, Liam McAdam is up into position number 5 in his debut weekend. Here he is in the 97, little loose there as he fights with Nathan Morecambe. Morecambe in 6th, James Moffat to P7. Little bit of positivity, little bit of sugar in that Renault Megane. 7th right now. Brown leading by 1.3 seconds over Aaron Cameron. There you go. Oh, it gets loose. The Golf GTI gets loose out of that corner. And that's all the incentive that Russell Ingall needs if he knows that Cameron's got a little bit of a struggle on.
Look at the background. Leanne Tander making moves. The Audi and Andre Heimgartner. That's for position 8. Martin down the inside. Bangs into the side of Alexandra Whitley on the way through. That was for 10th place. And now Ribberts tries to put the Astra in the gap at turn 4 and shuffles the Golf. Teammates to Jason Bright. Back another position. We're on lap 3, Rusty. I don't think I can take this. 15 more to go. I'm going to sit down.
You're not alone. The story is series leader Will Brown out in front with more than 1.5 seconds up his sleeve over Aaron Cameron. Ingall eyeing off another trophy here in TCR. Will we see him at Sandown and Taylor Bend for the final round? He says he's working hard on it. So that's a watching brief, that one. Keep an eye on the Car Sales TCR Australia website for news on that in-between events. And of course, Sandown just a few weeks away. That is going to be huge here on SBS with the debut of S5000. Cannot wait.
And one of the biggest names in world motor racing and Formula One history, Rubens Barrichello, is coming to Australia for the debut of S5000. Of course, a winner with Ferrari so many times. An amazing era with Michael Schumacher, the Brazilian superstar. We'll be at Sandown in 3 weeks' time. Make sure you are too. The TCR series will be there. We'll need the 3 weeks to calm down after this race because it's been really good. Brown leads, 2.2 seconds back to Aaron Cameron. Then Russell Ingall, Delberto McAdam. There's Morecambe, Moffat, Tander and Heimgartner here. Martin and Riveritz. Leanne covering off at turn 3. Position 8. That's what they're fighting for in this little battle pack. Looks like Martin's Honda's okay after that contact with Alexandra Whitley. Now the race, after those first few laps, when everyone's trying to make a spot, get some warmth in their tyres, just settles for just a little moment here, but Tander's under pressure. Look at this queue of cars. Heimgartner's looking racy, trying to get the Astra up the inside, but he knows if he makes a move, he's vulnerable to the Honda. So the Astras are in the mix here, the 2 cars from Kelly Racing. Heimgartner round the outside on the Audi. That's a long way, but if he can keep the nose in, that's what he's done. He's going to get that spot. Martin now trying to follow through.
But Martin won't be ideally placed for turn 10. Little bit of hip and shoulder between Leanne Tander and John Martin. Tander hangs on to it. Nice work as they come down to the new extension, if we can call it that. It's been here for 20 years now, but they go from 10 towards 11 and then back past the pit lane off turn 12. Good job, Leanne Tander. Holds down position number 9. It's Brown with nearly 3 seconds up his sleeve. Man, this kid is just riding on confidence, isn't he?
And he's already gone faster, Rusty, in this race than he did in the previous race. He set a new lap record, a 1:24.51, out in front, leading the way. 3 seconds the margin. This is a good fight. John Martin covering off. Hamish Riveritz has got the Honda sideways on the way in. Had to mash the throttle to get out the other side. Whitley's in the fight here as well. O'Keefe's in the battle. He's got to be careful. He needs to get points back in this Alfa Romeo, but he cannot afford some contact here, and 0 points against his name.
Bang on, and I reckon that's the way he tackled that corner. He knew he didn't need to get into a skirmish with Alexandra Whitley, who's, you know, it's fantastic to have her as a part of this series, but she's on her own mission, isn't she? She's not worried about the championship in the way that O'Keefe is right now. 3.3 seconds between Brown and Cameron. That's for position. Tander versus John Martin. Martin should get it sealed. He does. And moves ahead. Picks up a spot up to 8th now.
Bit of debris there on the exit of the corner onto the back straight out of turn 9. But it's off the racing line, so that should be okay. This is Martin in position 8. Look at the Congo line. Tim Brooks at the back of it in the other Honda. He's made an impressive debut in TCR Australia. There he is, car number 38. Flat tyre earlier on in the race that dropped him down the back, but he's been really competitive. We'd love to have him back for a future round.
Got the Intimidator lights on as well as we go to pit lane. Jordan Cox is there in the Alfa Giulietta. So, main part of your screen, we continue to watch this awesome battle. Alexandra Whitley in the second of the Alliance Golfs there. Back to Liam McAdam. Underscore highlight. He had that wild ride to the grid a little bit earlier. This has been a great debut for him. Tested only recently for the Melbourne Performance Centre crew. Has been away doing university studies. Very busy in that regard. Has raced supercars and Toyota 86s. This is a solid performance from Liam McAdam.
He stepped into a good car too. This is the Audi that Garth Tander won a race in at the Ben Motorsport Park, and Jean Calvinet, the Frenchman, took pole in a race win at Queensland Raceway. He's under fire here from Nathan Morecambe to fight for positions 5 and 6.
His dad David said to me this morning, hopefully they can stitch something together for 2020. This is about learning the car, learning the category. Maybe they'll be a permanent fixture in 2020 as a part of Car Sales TCR Australia. Nathan Morecambe in 6th position, but it's his teammate leading the way with that fastest lap of the race. Crazy number, qualifying style pace, 1:24.37 from Will Brown and a 4.5 second advantage over Aaron Cameron. Can they catch the Toowoomba kid?
I reckon the question is that. The answer is probably not from what he's done this weekend. It was amazing to think until yesterday he'd not taken a pole position so far this year. McAdam's off the road on the exit of the final turn, and he has put it into the wall in the Audi. The left rear has bumped the concrete at the exit of turn 12 just when he was going so well into top 5. There he is, and he's in drama. And knows where reverse is. First time in the car for the weekend, but he knows how to get out of the place.
Pretty aggressive, almost tried to do the stuntman style flick turn, didn't he? He's back in the game. Wonder how bad the damage is for the Audi. You can see some of the bodywork has come a bit loose there at the left rear.
Got some dramas here, Rusty. Turn 4, there's been some contact with Alexandra Whitley, who had a bump from Dylan O'Keefe, who's been trying to pass her for the last couple of laps. He had been down the inside at turn 3, and he stayed down the inside at turn 4, and Whitley was staying on the outside. There was some contact there. She's got going again, but lost a couple of spots and now is under fire from Bryce Fullwood in the Subaru WRX. There is James Moffat in the Renault, who's been up and down the field a little this weekend. He's been facing forwards and facing backwards as well. Here's Tim Brook fighting for 10th place with Dylan O'Keefe. Leanne Tander, Hamish Ribberts, position 8 and 9. Ribberts drove for the Audi team Melbourne Performance Centre early in the year at Phillip Island. He drives in the Super 3 Series for Matthew White's team in one of the old Ford Performance Racing Falcons, and has done a really nice job this year after stepping it up from Formula Ford. He's a young gun to keep an eye on. We're approaching half race distance in this final race of the weekend at Winton. Emma's in the lane.
Yeah, guys, you'll see Jordan Cox is still stuck in pit lane. Broome Beasley, can you give us the update?
Jordan got a bit overzealous and had a bit of a go at turn 1 and ended up in the grass backwards, and he's filled the radiator intake with brass, and now it's just got hot. So while it's hot, it won't start. It's in limp mode, so we've just got to wait to cool it down, and it is what it is now.
Tough luck. Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
And while Em was chatting there, what a wild ride for Andre Heimgartner, who somehow Noons has managed to hang on to a 7th place at the moment in that 777 Astra. But John Martin is ahead of him in 6th, then Nathan Morecambe in 5th place. Here's Leanne Tander holding down P8 from Hamish Ribberts.
Will Brown's margins now 5.9 seconds back to Aaron Cameron, who's got 2 seconds back to Russell Ingall. Have a look at the back of that Audi. Have a look at the exhaust. It's just hanging loose and just bouncing around there on the RS3. Keep an eye on that for Leanne Tander. She runs here in the top 10, which she's been a regular runner in the tail of the 10 in her TCR rounds this year. She started with us at Phillip Island, was at the Bend and Queensland Raceway. She's really hard on herself, Leanne. Of course, she doesn't drive full-time in a full championship these days, so when she does get in, that competitive spirit's there, and I think she does a much better job than she probably gives herself credit for. She does really set a high standard for herself.
100%, and I didn't know that the Sleuths had an exhaust division either. Great stuff. The Empire continues to grow. We go back to Morecambe.
This gave me a good idea,
D'Alberto.
It's a good idea. I might try that. Good fight here. D'Alberto and Morecambe. 4th and 5th, but they've lost touch with Russell Ingall. This was a replay of the start. Jason Bright initially went, then a drama, the clutch with an issue, and they all managed to avoid. So that Honda that was skipped to the side, that was Martin. So that's where he lost all his time. This was contact with Jordan Cox, and it was a bit hard to see who did what to who there. And that car's ended up overheating as a result of being off the road. So Liam McAdam, little mistake here, turn 12. He's just in a little wide, just catches the wall there on pit straight. He's got going again, but he's at the tail of the field in 17th place. This was Whitley returning to the circuit after a bit of an elbow session with Dylan O'Keefe as we get back to this fight for 4th place. Tony D'Alberto in the Honda Civic Type R. He looks a bit vulnerable here. Nathan Morecambe trying to line up the Type R, get by that Civic. Tony D'Alberto carrying the number 50 years of Honda in Australia this year. And Morecambe zeroing in this Hyundai. The i30N has been a really competitive car in TCR Australia this year. Will Brown out in front. The margin 6.7 seconds now. He's really playing with them.
Just on your point about Honda, walked into their Australian headquarters in Melbourne on Thursday, and they are pumped up about TCR and motorsport generally. Few of them walking around in Red Bull F1, Toro F1 jackets. They're right into it, which is great.
Amazing history. Honda in, well, all sorts of motorsport in 2 wheels, 4 wheels. And D'Alberto here, highly experienced these days, spent many years running and racing with his own family team in the Supercars Championship, long-time association with Commodores through the Walkinshaw organisation, and now with DJR Team Penske, the co-driver for Fabian Coulthard. He's the go-to guy for the Kiwi in the supercar endurance races. Nathan Morecambe keeping this pressure on, keeping the fight rolling.
Look at him, lights flashing.
Yep.
He senses Tony's struggling here and wants to get by. I'm glad we saw that replay before 2 noons of Morecambe versus the Audi of Liam McAdam, because it's pretty clear from the replay, no contact. It was just McAdam on his own, and you can see there's no damage to the front of that i30.
We thought earlier on in that previous race there may have been contact with the GRM cars, but clearly not. Chris Bither in the wall himself on the exit of turn 2. That's the car that has not lined up in this race. The damage to the number 33 Renault was just too much, so the Kiwi is a spectator for this one. This is the fight for fourth. D'Alberto a little wide on the approach to turn 1. That will give Morecambe a bit of a sniff up the hill. The old turn 1, it's turn 3 now here at Winton Motor Raceway, and that setting on the headlights is on, where it's flashing every now and then just to grab the attention of the Honda driver. Cam in the lane.
The loop noons on that story with regards to Leanne Tander's exhaust. It's only broken mounts at this stage, hasn't affected performance, but the team are monitoring it and said if they hear any sounds, Leanne, just to keep driving, they'll deal with it later. Okay, thanks for the update. That's good news. Tander runs in position 8 as this fight continues. Will Brown, 7.3 seconds back to Aaron Cameron. 2.7 between he and Russell Ingall, and then about 4.5 seconds back to the fight that you see on your screen here at Winton Motor Raceway. 7 laps to go in this final race of the weekend. 3-race format for TCR Australia. 3 weeks' time, we head to Sandown. So we stay in Victoria, we just head south down to that historic venue that I love so much. The 3.1 kilometre layout that's been the site of great open wheeler racing and touring cars, and it launches S5000. We'll see TCR Australia as well. Can't wait to get down there, but we're not done here yet. Will Brown leading the way. Let's have a look at this replay with Liam McAdam. And as soon as he got on the dirt, he was in trouble. Light bump on the left rear of the Audi. He got going again. He sits 17th. Morecambe at turn 1. What a move.
That was aggressive stuff through 1, and I think Tony yielded. I think he saw that Morecambe had really committed there. Wild stuff, but the Hyundai driver gets it done. Moves ahead of Tony D'Alberto for position 4. Meantime, the other I-30N enjoys a 7.8 second lead. Will Brown is out of here. From Aaron Cameron, Russell Ingall holding down 3rd. Dylan O'Keefe has been able to get to position number 9. That's worth 25 points in this race, but his rival Will Brown leads the way and can bank potentially the maximum 50 in this one.
Let's have a look at the replay, the Actron Air replay. Morecambe, almost 4 wheels were off the road. Now, his right-hand side tyres, were they completely inside the line and therefore out of bounds? Alex Davison is the driving standards advisor to TCR Australia. Race director Laurie Schmidt. Dave Stewart is the deputy race director. Race control, probably have a look at that one, because was he actually in the field of play when he launched the move? And you were right. D'Alberto had probably 2 options there, yield or get hit.
Tony's a pro racer. I wouldn't mind betting he'll be straight on the radio to the team to make him aware of how he feels about that. We just watching this battle here of O'Keefe, but let's get an update, Cam.
No, I was going to follow up, guys. I was with HMO Customer Racing watching that replay, and the team immediately told me it was okay. He had 2 wheels inside the line. They were straight onto it.
Politics. We love the gamesmanship, and it happens on track and off as well.
Either way, it was a stunning move to get the car pulled up, and could have been far worse than some contact. It was a pretty hard race. This is a good one too. Dylan O'Keefe chasing Leanne Tander, position 8 and 9. And this is a fight-back mission. See the left front flare there on the Alpha just flapping slightly. He's had a season of boom or bust, Dylan O'Keefe. Piles of podiums, a couple of wins at Phillip Island, and then a big crash in the final race there. Some dramas too at the bend that took him out. So there's a couple of DNFs, 2 races that he didn't finish, and then a 10th and an 11th at the bend. Really, I mean, we've talked about how this weekend's hurt him in the series. It was the bend and Phillip Island that have really stung him. But he's not going to give up. He'll keep the fight on here with Leanne Tander. He's got a pretty good view of that dangling exhaust on the Audi on the run down the back straight. Down to end.
Hey, just before the race, Baz, you promised you'd be on the radio to Dylan every single lap, pushing him and telling him to get his elbows out. He's doing a great job at the moment.
No, he's doing a fantastic job. He was a bit quiet the first couple of laps. I thought, he's gone to sleep. He's thrown the towel in. And, he's got the eyes on. And he's getting a bit aggressive. He's going all right, because every point matters. We're just punching hard. Thank you.
If you can get ahead of Leanne Tander, that'll be worth 27 points in this race. But as he reflected at the end of race 2, it's the damage relative to Brown, who's leading the way in this one. Kudos to him, though, because he's raced smartly here. He knew he couldn't get involved in other trouble. Just got to bank some solid points here.
If he gets Tander, as you said, that'll get him 27 points, but Will Brown will get 50. That'll leave him 116 down going to Sandown. When you consider how many points are on offer in a weekend of TCR, 2 for pole, 40 for the win in the first 2 races. There's 82, another 50 for the final race, 132. He's nearly a weekend behind with just 2 weekends to go. He's going to need something to go wrong for Will Brown and have some stellar weekends himself to get there and have any chance of becoming the inaugural Car Sales TCR Australia Series champion. As we've seen this year, just when we think we've got the storyline figured out, it changes completely. So we're nowhere near done with 2019.
And the storyline will be influenced by the fact that we're off to somewhere new. They've been doing some work actually to Sandown that you talked about before, and back to Tailem Bend, where everyone's got a bit of data from the last time out. Admittedly earlier in the year, as James, I should say, Moffat, continues to apply the pressure here to Alexandra Whitley on the outside as they run down to the final 2 corners. Oh, lifting those rear wheels. Whitley hangs on to it, and I reckon Bright's there too. So Bright really pushing his GTI. This is an awesome battle. We'll keep a quick eye on that. Let's get an update from the lane, Cam.
Bryce Fullwood out of the car at the moment. Bryce, lots of action going out on track and unfortunately not part of it. What's happened?
Yeah, it's actually snapped the left front damper clean in half. So, look, disappointing weekend for us. Obviously, certainly not on behalf of Kelly Racing. They've put a huge effort in and done heaps of work on these cars, but unfortunately, the reliability isn't quite there. And so, obviously, these cars are a fair bit behind in development compared to the other cars in the category. And I think it's time to, I suppose, revamp things a little.
Thanks, Bryce.
Thank you.
Early shower for Bryce Fullwood, and contact there. Alexandra Whitley and James Moffat were fighting pretty hard. I remember they had some contact earlier on in the year. Jason Bright now trying to take advantage. He's on the comeback trail from that slow start from the front row of the grid. Round the outside of the tree here at Winton. They're fighting for position 12. And it'll go on, but Bright gets the job done. The Golf GTI picks up another spot. Out front, Will Brown is the leader. Couple of laps to go. Margin is nearly 10 seconds now as Moffat tries to get back onto Jason Bright. The exit of turn 10, the run down to turn 11. We're counting down to the finish of this final race of the weekend in the Car Sales TCR Australia Series. What a miserable run it's been for GRM. They'll be back at Sandown in 3 weeks' time with the Renaults and the Alpha. This is the replay. Moffat makes a move. He's in the gap. Whitley just turns straight on in. Contact, and the Actron Air Golf is off the road and slow and trying to get itself rolling. O'Keefe's through on Tander. That's for 8th place. Couple more points, 2 more series points. They're all crucial at the business end of the season with 2 rounds and 6 races left to go. The young gun from Victoria in that Alfa Romeo Giulietta Veloce is working his way forward. Whatever he can get here, he'll put in his back pocket, I should say, and take with him away for what's been otherwise a tough weekend. Next on the list is Heimgartner, Andre Heimgartner. The Holden Astra is 2.6 seconds down the road from the Alpha. Couple of laps to go. Here's the replay of how Dylan got it done. Coming out of the last turn, Leanne Tanner a little wide, and the Alpha just picks up the slipstream. And the Alpha looks to the inside at turn 1. Job done. 2 laps to go for our leader, Will Brown, who's now got the margin to 10.1 seconds. Cameron on target for his best finish of the year, a 2nd place in the Volkswagen Golf, and Russell Ingall to rack up another trophy. He got 3 at Queensland Raceway. Looks like he's going to get 1 at Winton here as well. 2 to go. Leanne Tander on board that Audi. Here is her teammate, Russell Ingall, the 2-time Bathurst 1000 winner, the Supercars champ of 2005. Accepted an invitation to have a drive in TCR to see what this was all about at the Bend, and loved it so much we haven't been able to get rid of him. He's been back a couple of weekends in a row. Molly Taylor, the Snap-on Tool Subaru, has come to a standstill. Her time in TCR Australia for 2019 at least looks to have come to an end on the grass here at Winton. She's got rallying commitments which preclude her from being with the series in TCR at Sandown and the Bend. So it's a shame to see her finish that way, but it's been a tough run with those Subarus for reliability this year. We're on the final lap at Winton. Will Brown has crossed the line to start the final 3 kilometres of racing. Russell Ingall here in P3. There's Aaron Cameron, car 2 in position 2. What a great result this will be. Getting closer and closer and closer to the front. He's been third 3 times this year. This will be his best of the season. And this guy is on target for win number 6 and podium number 11. Will Brown, final lap here at Winton on SBS. That rear right locked up. We jump on board with the young gun from Toowoomba. The Toyota 86 champion a few years ago. Champion in Formula 4. Race winner in Super 2. Endurance driver for Erebus Motorsport with Anton Di Pasquale in the Pertec Cup. We'll see him later in the year together, the 2 young guns at Bathurst, having a crack at the great race. But right now in TCR, he's the form man, the form car, and the form team. He's going to get the job done with 2 race wins today, 3 podiums for the weekend. No one has been able to lay a glove on the I-30N, and the young Queenslander's done the job. Final turn is coming up at Winton Motor Raceway in the Car Sales TCR Australia Series. Will Brown stamps his authority all over the field and picks up another win. Checker flag out, massive margin, and Brown wins at Winton. New lap record, 1:24.37 back on lap 5. Daylight behind him. There's Aaron Cameron, well done. Second place. It's Melbourne Performance Centre 2 and 3 with the V-Dub and the Audi. Russell Ingall home in third. Nathan Morecambe, what a day for the HMO Customer Racing team. He's home in fourth. There's Delberto, P5 in the Honda Civic Type R. His teammate John Martin is next across the line. Andre Heimgartner in the Astra. Dylan O'Keefe in the Alpha finished in 8th place. But congratulations all round for the HMO Customer Racing team. They've got the job done. Let's recap the way they finished in race 3 here at Winton Motor Raceway. Look at the margin, 10.74 seconds. That is big. Further down the order, Dylan O'Keefe, position 8 in the Alfa Romeo. He managed to fight his way back into the 10. 10 to 9. Hamish Ribberis, 10th place in the Holden Astra from Kelly Racing. Outside, Tim Brook in the Honda Civic. Jason Bryant, 4th back to 12th place. James Moffat finished 13th. We'll wrap it all up. Stay with us from Winton in just a moment.